Puer natus est is the introit for the Mass of the day, Christmas Day. Each Christmas Mass has its own introit. They are all quite lovely, but I don't think I would be stepping out of line if I were to say that Puer natus est is the most famous and perhaps the favorite among those who sing chant regularly. I once tried to explain to a novice who was a musician that the modes in Gregorian chant really do have certain emotional affects to them. And he was fresh off of getting his musicology degree, and he laughed at me because, oh, that can't be. It has to be simply something that is culturally bound. I don't think anyone listening to mode 7, which is the mode of this particular chant, and hearing how it's set could really deny that this is a mode that principally expresses great joy, even ecstatic joy. There's a kind of strength to it. The large leap at the very beginning indicates a great amount of energy and just a literal uplifting of the spirit. Some people again will say, well, high and low in musical terms, again, what we're talking about are faster or slower vibrations of the air molecules around us and the nerves in our ear and so on. Not quite. If you're a singer, you know that where your vocal cords are located and the ones that vibrate for different pitches correspond to lower parts and higher parts of the body. This is why singing teachers refer to chest voice and head voice. So we begin in a strong chest voice. But as we go up higher and higher, we have to move into what's known as head voice, you know. Cuius impérium. It's a higher place in our bodies. It's a natural thing to associate high notes with heights and low notes with the depths. This is why De Profundis, a famous offertory, starts with very low notes. In any case, Puer natus est, mode 7, it's the last introit of the day. It's the fullness of joy. The midnight Mass, we use mode 2 to contemplate the more mystical meaning of the Word descending from heaven, becoming flesh. Now we have good news. We have an announcement for the world. A child is born to us, born for everyone, not just us, meaning the community here, but for the whole world, for the salvation of the world. It's really a joyful thing. Listen to us sing Cuius impérium again. We use this note Fa, the very top note we had on impérium. It appears once in this chant. It's the very center of the piece in a sense. And I mentioned a few weeks ago that in my experience this note Fa is used to give a sense of strength. And it's interesting that the word impérium, empire literally, is the word that receives it. And to accentuate it, if you look at the earliest manuscripts, you see that the last two notes of that run upwards are lengthened. cuius impérium, as if to accent the fact that we're stretching one note higher now to indicate the power, the comprehensiveness, the solidity of this new kingdom, this new way of living in Christ. Now we're going to do one more time et vocábitur to the end, and I have a couple of things to point out there. Another interesting trait of Gregorian chant, which is very different from modern metrical music, is when we have this word nomen, the first syllable is the important syllable. And we would, in modern music, probably put more notes on it to indicate its importance. We put it on a downbeat, we would do a long melisma. We get exactly the opposite here. We get et vocábitur nomen. We have all the extra notes on every syllable but the important one, the first syllable of the name. Why is that? It's a different way of calling attention to a syllable. And in some ways, it's easier to comprehend, it's easier to understand. If we have the singers sitting on one note in a resonant space like a church, and then suddenly there's a change in consonant, in vowel, and then we switch right away to another consonant and vowel. The change is what gets our attention, and we hear the syllable clearly what it's supposed to be. If we sang something like vocábitur nomen, we know this text pretty well, but let's say we didn't. The extra notes on the first syllable, we might forget what the first consonant was. We might forget what syllable we're on. It happens in choir sometimes that we have a long melisma on some syllable at the end of a piece, and when we get to the end, I cut everybody off, but we don't remember, is it an S, or is it supposed to be a T? When we have lots of notes, we can forget what we're singing. One note draws clear attention to the function of this word, and it says this is the important word. It's the center of the phrase, et vocábitur nomen eius. Okay, this is a lovely introit. We would be very happy to sing it for you one more time, and we, of course, wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Hey.